Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
Don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is flat.
GLOBEBUSTERS taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rover. Now so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Get the shovel for the spice hubble, piecing up the puzzle. Need to burst your bubble. Evil gonna crumble, yeah. Sit down, be humble. Got the ball, you better fumble. You'll get mad, cause at this fight I'm Bob's your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Bob shot the president, Jaren got the evidence. It was slaying Jesuits and Zach Sharkham is evident. Dead to earth electric and it's resonant. Your resident is heaven sent. I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rover. Now so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is.
Inner World Productions.
All right, welcome to GLOBEBUSTERS, episode 11, or episode 5, season 11, and it should be a cool show, man. I titled it The New Wave, and that is alluding to this resurgence of Flat Earth kind of going mainstream right now, and it should be a pretty interesting 2024. So it's already getting pretty interesting. We'll watch a few videos, talk about that. We may pop over to Rockfin, talk uncensored as to some world events. I think I got some pretty interesting stuff to show you guys as to what all is going on. Let's just say we're making some noise. So before we get started, let's introduce my boy on the panel, Zach from Good Times for All. How's it going, brother?
Hey, Austin. Always a good time to be here, man. Yeah, it's crazy. This year, I mean, we're only in like May, and it's just popping, bursting at the seams right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy to watch how this all unfolds, man. It's I don't know if flat earthers really know exactly how mainstream it's going right now. So I think this is a good show to do. I think they may be surprised.
I know they had Taylor Swift's guy out there talking about flat Earth. You know, it's
Yep.
and you know everything that they say is pretty much scripted. They know those questions that are coming and yada yada yada. It's crazy that they're even allowing them to talk about it the way they are.
Yeah, and that is actually in one of the videos I want to show. Um, it's all pretty fascinating, and I mean pros and cons, right? You're gonna have people swoop in and maybe not represented exactly how we want, and they'll get more eyes on their version of it very quickly, and blah blah blah. But I think it's a net positive. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah. Hey, just people hearing those two words together, flat Earth. The more people hear it, the more people are going to get used to it.
Yeah, and yeah, I really like when people are asking me for my bios, I say stuff like ether cosmologist and stuff like flat earth just triggers people so hard, but it is about to lose the stigma a bit, I think. I think so. So cool. Let me find a couple of these videos and we'll play them. And I think that the InfoWars thing may had a bit to do with it, but no, I mean, it's just that time, regardless. And I think there's a lot of, how they say that we have sleeper cells in America?
Hmm.
We have sleeper cells in flat Earth, right? We have
Everywhere.
exactly. So they're saying my audio's a little low. I'll switch over to my SM7B in a second. So let me find this video and we'll play it. And it's by Robot Polisher, none other than. And
Love Robot Polisher videos. I was playing one for Cammy earlier,
yeah, man.
and she didn't get to, she wasn't watching, but she was like, "Whoever put that together, that was brilliant."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, he's awesome. Let me actually just pop it up here. We'll go. mm, Maybe it's this one. Yeah. All right. And if you don't follow Robot Polisher already, you should definitely go give him a follow. As Zach was saying, his videos are awesome. That should be
I
full
don't see
screen.
how he has the time in the day to do it. I would think that he spent like 3 years putting together videos and is, just releasing them because he puts one out like every day, just about.
It's
And they're
crazy.
like top notch edited. I don't know. Is this person AI somehow, or I don't know.
No, no,
They're
I
just
talked to him.
really really good and dedicated.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
awesome. Just an awesome
no, just
guy.
really dedicated. You could tell, and super talented. Yeah,
Does it for the does it for the game. He's cool, man. So we'll play this video. There's a few of them actually that kind of elucidate this point. And yeah, we're making ripples, and I want to throw this back out there. Obviously, you can donate to the stream. Donate at kofi.com/globebusters. It'll pop up on the screen. We have a little goal down there. We're also running on Rockfin. We may finish the stream there. But um, I want to throw this back out there. As it kind of starts to float around or bubble up, people need to really step back and try to detach from ego, and they need to kind of try to constantly remind themselves to that. I know some people may say, "Oh, that's rich coming from you," because I come off super confident, and I have had to work on my ego as well. And I'm just throwing that out there. People should step back, detach from their ego, and realize that when you're calling people glurfs, globetards, and all these things, I mean, we may find them kind of funny. We know the history is that they've been attacking us so long. I've never liked the word globetard or anything like that, but I'll say glober. I think it's maybe better to say globe earth believer, globe earth proponent. But either way, when you start throwing the insults and ad homs and stuff, it's just terrible. Like no,
hmm
normal
it's
people
just a
don't
bad
want,
look.
yeah, normal people don't want anything to do with that, So I'm just gonna remind the people there. There's always gonna be. I mean, if Flat Earth takes over the world this year, there's gonna be some guy that jumps in the chat that calls you stupid, just like water off a duck's back, right? If you can't adopt
Yeah,
that
I mean,
mentality, they're winning.
exactly. You can't let these people get your hair up. I mean, yeah, back in the day, I get it. Okay, if you're new to flat Earth, I get it. I understand. But those of us that have been around for a while, let's set an example, for the others that are just getting into it and haven't been called all these names for years now. Because, like Austin said to me, when people say stuff about me, it's like water off a duck's back. It doesn't bother me one way or another, you know. But you can't stoop to their level.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna keep saying that because every time I look in the comments, people are not doing that, and it's just really lame. All right, let's play this video. It's just a few minutes long, and then we'll play another one of those videos in a couple minutes. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's the time that you do kind of pay attention to how you come across. Refine some of the things you say. Um, be careful what you say, what claims you make, and just be polite, and just be
Hmm.
honest. Be like, we don't know that, but I mean, it could be this, it could be that. We figured this out, etc. And just be kind to people, man, because when people see that, they're more inclined to go with the side that's like being kind and normal and seems like they have nothing to hide or. So
And most people want to be on the side of good. They just do, intrinsically.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. All right, let's play. Let me turn this volume. You guys let me know how the volume is in the chat. It's like 4 minutes long, and then we'll come back.
Remember, not everybody can be a robot Palasha.
What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
Laugh at her.
Laugh at her.
I don't think this is funny, actually. Like, we can laugh at it, but I don't think it's funny.
I'm starting to get worried. Flat Earther community seems to be growing.
Surprised at the number of friends I have that believe the Earth is flat.
Bro, when you,
I'm shocked.
And this is not just amongst Christians. This is the scientific community.
This stuff is really taking hold.
What percentage of the NFL believes in flat Earth, do you think?
dude, honestly, there's at least 10 guys, 10 to 15 guys in every locker room, I would imagine.
That are the hardcore flat Earth.
I think if you took a truly anonymous poll, you're over 15% of an NFL locker room.
It's crazy. What?
I had to battle half my team thinking the earth is flat this year.
I'm telling you.
Getting out of control. Can you please help it? Can you please help it?
A recent representative poll in North America found that 5% think the Earth is flat and another 6% aren't quite sure.
It goes up for young people, all the way to 34%.
Only 64% are convinced that the world is a ball. The world is a circle, that the world is a spheroid.
Unfortunately, that is not a made-up statistic.
How's this flat Earth thing like catching steam?
There's no doubt that interest in flat Earth ideas has spiked.
What happened?
What happened?
Why are there so many flat Earthers?
That's what blows a lot of people away. They can't believe how much traction this had.
Sometime in the middle of the 20th century or so, we reached a point where modern science just stopped being comprehensible to anyone without a special degree, and this is still the case.
YouTube recommends some pretty wild videos to people. They watch it, and it suggests even more extreme content. It's not just YouTube.
TikTok has now become a haven for flat earthers.
It's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's all of them.
The narrative is crumbling. People are finally waking up.
How do we solve that?
What are we to do?
I don't think you can duck them anymore.
I think it's a mistake to ignore flat earthers.
I think you have to get to the point where you're willing to have a debate with them. Kyrie Irving, the point guard for the freaking Nets. He went to Duke University.
The smartest guy on the team, Paul DeYoung, is a flat earther.
The awakening is starting to weave its threads with all the different players and all the different teams and all the different outlets. The unification and the awakening has caught tread now.
Actually seriously believe that the Earth is flat. He still thinks the Earth is flat.
I've seen a lot of things that that my educational system has said that was real and turned out to be completely fake. I mean, I don't mind going against the grain in terms of my thoughts and what I'm doing.
How did we get to this point to where people actually believe this?
They've got a long list of things that they've curated at this point, and they're not easy to answer.
They're all marched around us and they boxed us in the basketball court.
If you had 3 PhDs in astrophysics over here and you had 3 flat earthers next to them and they were doing a debate, the flat earthers would win every single time. The flat earthers would win every single time. The reason why is because a small group of people who become very good debaters, they're so flashy and they make really good YouTube posts.
Or maybe we just have a stronger position.
We're not, claiming pseudoscientific, unverifiable, crazy claims that can easily be debunked. That's why.
And not everybody can be a robot polisher.
So, pretty interesting stuff there. Shout out to Robot Polisher, show him some love. Always does great work. Have you ever seen that one, Zach?
Yeah, I watched that one this morning.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Oh, pause.
Yeah, he's on my list of, because he makes them all nice and short like that. He must have taken lessons from David Weiss. I think his longest one I've seen was like 7 minutes. So he keeps them all pretty short. And they're just jam-packed with, they're all like that. Just really well done, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. I actually have another one I want to play right now, if you're cool with that.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely, dude.
All right, cool. And let people kind of get all up in here. I'll show a couple of the things that happened recently. And I'll swap my mic over. Like, can you guys, as I play this video, verify whether or not my mic sounds all right? Because I'm pretty sure it does sound okay. But anyway, all right, let's check this one out.
So once you understand that the most basic stories we've been told about history, about the Earth, the physical Earth itself, then it's like, I don't know, what is true?
The growing movement nowadays, and this is not just amongst Christians, this is in the scientific community.
I am open to everything now. I'm open to things that I never thought I would have been open to.
I certainly am. Yeah. After, I mean, I think we've seen in the media and in the government what we've seen in these past 2.5, 3 years. I mean, who knows what the fuck they're really telling us.
The thing about the whole flat Earth, round Earth thing, like, why people care if people believe in the Earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Nowadays, if you even suggest something like that, you'll be crucified, basically.
Hey, we don't need weak Christians, bro. We need crusaders. We need people like me. We don't need people like you.
Oh, I'd be on the other side of that word, dude.
Crazy seeing Christians like believe in evolution and space and all this stuff that 100% contradicts the Bible. It's the ultimate psyop.
Earth is actually plane. It's a flat plane. It's not globular, and it's stationary. It's a very popular movement now.
Why is it that flat Earth is the single thing that triggers people the most?
People get so angry about it.
No question triggers people more.
Imagine being so programmed that you have strong emotions around a subject and you don't even know why.
Force has a very strong effect on the weak-minded.
What do you think that triggers people so much? People go absolutely nuts.
Triggers the fuck out of people.
Why is it so important for them to just believe so badly? Why is it such a trigger point for these people who just can't imagine?
Why do people get mad at people if they just describe the Earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I just don't talk about it because it's like something like Einstein said, you know what I'm saying, to a dumb motherfucker, ignorant motherfucker sound dumb. So
I get it.
What do you think about flat Earth theory, Tucker?
Well, I'm open to anything, but
that's it! Cut the soundbite! Because when it comes to things like the shape of the Earth, or the climate of the Earth, or the efficacy of the vaccine, or a number of things like this, because those things are settled. I'm not one of these globe cucks, okay? I don't trust it. I don't trust it for 1 second. And if I'm involved in a car accident or anything like that, don't believe a word they said. I'm not suicidal, right? I don't have any pre-existing heart conditions. It was NASA. I don't believe NASA for 1 minute. I don't believe any of that stuff. I am definitely a skeptic. Antarctica, I'm sorry, there's something up there.
The firmament is real. This is why rocket ships take off and they start shooting at an angle. They'll scrape the firmament and they always land in the ocean.
Earth is flat. You're a globe-tard. You're a globe-tard. You think this isn't flat?
It's not.
It's the world round.
Yes, it's a globe.
Globe-tard.
So is space fake? Is there even space?
So fake.
So fake.
It's just laughable.
I also have it on good authority that space is fake, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Whatever math that we have for the current size and shape of the Earth has been proven wrong. I mean, it's been proven wrong. You can't deny it. That's just a fact.
Everything that comes out of NASA is fake and gay. I mean, really, like that James Webb Telescope. Do you really believe any of those pictures are real? Do we need to see, like, how many videos of Neil deGrasse Tyson do we need to see with his mouth wide open, pointing, soy facing over these fake pictures to how many of those do you need to finally convince you that space is amazing?
NASA resumes they receive to work there, it's like, are you proficient in Photoshop? It's like, what?
It's all fake and gay. I mean, kind of like space.
NASA's in the business of faking everything.
Are you denying space?
A little bit. A little bit. Sounds made up to me.
Sounds made up, yeah. Me too.
I've never seen a former flat earther. Nobody's ever seen what the actual shape of the Earth is, and then been like, you know what? Neil deGrasse Tyson really does give me a good argument because it's literally ridiculous.
Once you go flat, you never go back.
We've seen both. Like, we know your model better than you guys.
Everything in the news is BS. everything. There is nothing that I can consume on any legacy media that I can trust.
I love that, we've got a media team that is as excited about what we're doing as y'all are.
Tom Costello with NBC. Kristen Fisher with CNN. The Atlantic. Reuters. The AP. Bloomberg.
It makes you wonder how long it's been going on for, and I'm concerned it might have been a very long time.
Yeah. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there going, oh, dude, don't fake news this, fake news that. I don't believe that. I don't believe this shit. They can't fool me. But as soon as CNN, like in the middle of all their bullshit fucking iPhone headlines, they're going to put...
Just like Jodie Foster's character in the movie Contact, scientists have come across a mysterious signal from a galaxy far, far away.
In a fucking galaxy far away. And everyone's like, oh, cool. Did you know we found fucking 7 new planets? So cool that we could find new planets. It's only 100 light years away, dog. It's like, these people are just... But they're calling CNN fake news, but when they report on space shit, no, that's real. They're not, that's real shit. It's not all fake, that's real. It's the most important shit to them. At the highest levels, as long as they think they're fucking on a ball, shooting through space, like all that other shit, whatever, boom, just keep that idea that they're on the fucking ball.
And not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Starters, I don't believe space exists.
No satellites out there either, nigga.
It's like Santa Claus for adults.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
It's just laughable.
You're gonna attach a camcorder to a Roomba, stick it in the desert, and tell me it's Mars.
Looking and using common sense.
It looks ridiculous and dumb.
That is tape, Tim. That's space tape, bud.
Do they think we're stupid?
It's so fake.
Just laughable.
Dangerous misinformation, like the Earth is flat and that humans have an immune system.
I like flat earthers. That means they think for themselves. And they're skeptical.
Prove you're on a flat plane. Okay, there it is. It's right there. That's the flat, not moving plane. How about you prove you're on a spinning ball?
And it all goes out the window and you realize it's all bullshit.
Flat Earth is real. Okay? The world is not round.
The Earth is flat, right? Yeah. People just want to believe. Most globe people have never thought about anything. They're literally like, I'm standing on a spinning ball right now. That's fucking insane. It's so fucking stupid. I mean, it's more insane than transgenderism. The idea that you're on a spinning ball is literally crazier. Like the spinning ball thing is like retarded.
You got me, it's a globe.
Yeah, 2 people out.
Yes, you got me, it's a globe. It's a globe of dinosaurs. I like the velociraptor. Hey, what's your favorite dinosaur, guys?
And that's actually a little bit older. So pretty funny stuff there. And I'm going to show you a few more things that we have here. I saw Karen say something about Mark talking to Jim Brewer. I did a show with Greg Reese. He has already made FE stuff, right? But I just did a show with him. So there's a couple big shows. And I'm going to show you guys something pretty interesting. But Zach, have you seen that one?
Yeah. I think I've seen every one of his videos that he puts out. Like he's one of those I go to every day. That's whenever he puts out a video, it's on my I'm gonna watch it right now list. I think they're that well done as far as the video editing and just how he puts it together. It's nothing new to me. I just really admire the talent that he has for doing this. Because I've done video editing, years of it, and I don't ever make videos that are this good. Ever. Yeah, they're great. They're great for the community.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm trying to actually team up with him. I think we may team up. So, nice. Something else I want to show you guys here is we can't play the video of her music video, but there's someone named Grimes, and that's the baby mama, the BM of Elon Musk. And
is her baby's name like XJ9 or 7 or something like that?
Something really, really weird, yeah. And she recently made a post. Let's see if I can find it. I'll go down until we find it here. And actually I had to make screenshots. You can see obviously her posts are super weird. So
Well, she was married to Elon, so
Yeah. I don't actually know if that post has been deleted. I do have screenshots, but I want to find it. Oh yeah, here it is. So you see it says this post is unavailable. This was a picture of like the best picture ever of like the moon of Mars or something, right? And it was just noticeably fake.
and that was taken down like almost immediately, wasn't it?
Yeah, so she posted this out and said they shouldn't let interns render things in our solar system if they don't want us to catch on. And then immediately it started getting a lot of views. You see, it's got like almost 400,000 now. So the dude took it down, right? Because there's like some space fan, so like it's the last thing he wants the picture to go viral for, right? So pretty funny, right? They shouldn't let the interns render things in our solar system if they don't want us to catch on. Someone said, "I knew it. Space is fake," and she said, "So fake."
Wow.
Yeah.
So fake.
Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. So that is the baby mama of Elon Musk. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So obviously,
Did you get
can't
to?
trust that person.
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
Did you get to check out Mark's chat that he had with Jim Brewer? I think it was on yesterday
I did
morning.
Not. I did not.
Oh, dude, Jim Brewer. I have so much respect for that guy just because he was the first, comedian that I had ever heard of. Really the first one I saw that came out and was, making fun of all the stuff that happened back in 2020. He was the first one that put his neck out there on the chopping block and said, "You know what? Forget this. Somebody needs to start, making fun of all this stuff because it's just insane." And yeah, now he's talking flat Earth, and he seemed really open to it, like really open to it. So hopefully that'll open the door for some of these other bigger named comedians and people like that. I mean, the comedians are where everything, I think, kind of starts in entertainment. The jester is going to say something crazy. He might know it's true, but he'll say it so people laugh at first. But the more that they say it and the more people hear it, the less funny it'll be eventually.
Yeah, because like I knew that I knew Jim Brewer was Effie adjacent, we'll say, and I think he had some hesitancy about being super public. So that is very interesting. See, I think that the only thing that has to be done is that stigma where people are literally scared to host a conversation about it kind of goes away. That's the only thing that we have to do. I think the information kind of stands on its own, right? Like, it's just a fact that the average person hasn't seen, high altitude balloon footage of 120,000 feet where the horizon is horizontal and right up near your eye level. The average person has no idea. If you send a balloon that high, the Earth looks flat, right? The average person doesn't know you can see mountains from 250 miles away. The average person doesn't know any of that, like the basic stuff.
When you're speaking to the average person, speak to them as if you're speaking to a very young child, like you're actually teaching them something, not as an arrogant person showing them up and being like, "I know something you don't know," and no, you can't do it that way. They're not going to respond to that. Speak to them as a child. Answer their questions because they're going to have 1,000 of them. That's how you have to teach them because, like Austin said, they haven't seen all this stuff. They have no clue. And they've been brainwashed on top of it to think the exact opposite almost. So really, with child gloves is how you have to handle a lot of these people.
Yeah, I think you just got to be nice, man, and like it doesn't like make you super cool, like to know. You have to be nice to people. I think people kind of come off like they're special because they know, and I mean, no one likes that. with any subject, you know?
Yeah, exactly. People don't want to be talked to like that about anything.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, I was trying to read this. And obviously, if we get into like current events, we can't really talk too much about what's going on in the world on here. So we may finish the show over on Rockfin, so you guys may want to be on the lookout for that. I'm assuming that the Jim Brewer Mark thing is like obviously a pretty long show.
Yeah, it was a few hours, I believe. Let me go check real quick. Yeah, but he and his buddy, really cool guys, hour and a half, hour and 33 minutes long. Jimmy Shaka and Mark Sargent. And you can tell Jimmy is all in for sure. That was one of Jim's buddies. Jimmy Shaka is Jim Brewer's buddy. And I think he was a big fan of Mark as well. So, and you know Mark, he's just a lovable guy. He was cracking Jim up half the time, you know, because Mark's he's got that quick wit, and they're about same age, around there, so they get all the same jokes. I don't know if you're old enough, Austin. You might be. Once you hit a certain age, it's like you'll be in a room with younger people and you'll hear something that's, you know, on a movie that was real famous when you were younger, and you think everybody knows, but the younger people in the room have no idea what you're talking about. Have you had that yet?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you feel a little bit old, doesn't it? Made me feel old. Have we been joined?
Wait, say again?
I see somebody jumped in.
Yes, it's me, guys.
Iru!
How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you doing?
Fine, man, fine. After a long time, I was really busy between the conference and life with my family. Sorry for the absence in the last couple of shows, but I am ready to get back to Europe in just 10 days. So I'm trying to finish passing time with my friends, etc., etc. But today I have a little time, so I joined the show a few minutes ago. I don't want to interrupt you, and I don't see any screen sharing or something like that. It's totally black, my screen on Skype. So
that's weird.
Yeah, maybe
Family
I
all
need
good?
to hang
Everybody
out
good?
and yeah, everybody good.
Good,
Everything
good.
it's
How
fine.
did that projection you were working on turn out?
Projection in terms of the Skype or projection in terms of my life?
No, the thing you were working on in the theater?
No, that was just a regular business. After a long time, I take my usual shops. So I play just like a choreography, a video choreography for classic ballet, which is a little weird, but it was just like a ghost passing by from right to left for 2 minutes, just for 2 minutes. But for those 2 minutes, I need to be there like 3 hours in total, and yeah, it was a pain in the ass. But after all, at least I take for my how you say, for my surprise, like 4 or 5 dancers in the first class dancing, or that dancer, because it's a professional dancer, follow me on YouTube, and there was they was flat earther. They are flat earther. So I take a couple of pictures with them. Even the principal dancer was a flat earther. So it was nice at least to see in that community also flat earthers.
Wow, we're everywhere.
Yeah, we are everywhere. With this type of experience, you can say I'm checked, we are everywhere. Yeah, it was, but it was a nice, a nice job because my mother was the director of that ballet, so I was with my family too, even in that place,
Excellent.
Yeah. And getting back to my, the nice thing was that again we did a conference in Chile 1 month ago, and it was full. The audience, the theater, like 400 people, a lot of new people coming to the topic, and it was nice to see how we, keep growing in terms of the community, and that was nice. And in fact, we did like 3 conferences here in Argentina in different states, and again, a lot of new people coming and wants to know more, and so that is at least is some in terms of the statistics is something that you can take as a reference to say we are growing and we keep growing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's super
That's where we
crazy.
were.
Something else, I don't know if you guys know, I guess it's almost official. I'm supposed to debate Professor Dave on The Quartering, a YouTube channel that has 1.5 million subs and 250,000 on Rumble. 350K on Twitter. So that should be interesting. I picked the guy. I got the connection to someone else. So it's not like it's a setup like it was with Dave Weiss. It's just a really big channel. So that should be interesting.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and I saw I know you talked, I think the last week, but I saw you in the debate on, a talk. I don't know if you call it debate with the guy of Infowars. That was great too.
Yeah, definitely wasn't a debate, but yeah. But this is crazy because the guy that's hosting it, I mean, he gets retweeted a lot by the Rumble CEO. He's got a pretty big following, and it's a big audience of people that are probably not even really familiar with the subject at all. It's like a perfect audience. It's not like a group of people that are just super like anti-flat earth or anything. So I think that should happen in June. A few other big things. So I think we're about to see a pretty crazy shift.
Yeah, it's that type of at least you get new audience. It was very respectful. It was a nice conversation, going around topics, and it's a nice experience, at least for the people in the other side, maybe not for people that already get into the topic, but people from it's those type of things that you can share with friends, new friends, family, things like that, to have a close, real conversation between people that maybe are in a different point of view, but at least you can talk with another one and be, respectful and listen one to each other and things like that.
Yeah. With the Infowars thing, I was trying to be nice, wore kid gloves. It's all good. Maybe we'll have a follow-up there as well. But yeah, have you seen, or do you kind of agree with the idea, the idea of the show, the new wave is kind of that, obviously Effie is kind of about to hit the second wave, if you will. Do you think that that's the case? What is your take on that, bro?
Well, yeah, I think it depends. It's an. I am a little dynamic in terms of trying to be adaptive to different circumstances. You are a guy of debate, and you are giving a lot of talks, and you put your face in a lot of places. I use I open YouTube and I see your face all over the place, and I think you take always in the correct way. I don't know if that responds what you ask me, but I think what you do, in all the things that you take, even in your own channel, I really like your master classes, your school in Globers, and I like your style in the complete way, if you want to see in that way.
Ah, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Obviously, I think that you're a legend as well. I'm saying, do you think that do we see like a massive shift in awareness of flat Earth this year?
Yes. Yeah, that is why I mentioned all these conference and things like that. I think that at least in the Spanish community, we have a lot new people coming in. Of course, maybe I don't see, and I think that is something in terms of some tactics that the mass media are using, and I mean that don't given us so much publicity in the media as it used to be. For example, in the Spanish community, I used to have like I don't want to invent a number, but maybe 10 to 20 interviews per month in terms of a small radio or big radio shows, a little less in terms of television. And maybe in the last couple of, a year and a half, something like that, I maybe 1-2 interviews per month, at least in my case. And we are not, and I think the shift, the nice shift is that, again, at least in the Spanish community, we start seeing a lot of science guys on YouTube addressing the flat Earth. Very poor, it's like coming back to the Middle Age, trying to debunk the flat Earth argument. But we lose media and we gain people on YouTube that has channels related with science. And that is also a way to see the shift, because now we are getting more publicity with people that are already involved in the in the social media networks. And maybe when we are exposed in media, classic media, in television, things like that, the target is already for old people and maybe people that are not belong to the new way of communication. So I don't know if I explain myself, but I think that we are getting new people, but because we are being attacked by new people too, which is in this case from the social networks and instead of the media, classic media,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. I think like as we get in public, and if people can kind of keep it amicable and like represent the right way, so not screaming, cussing, interrupting, calling people stupid, all that crazy weird stuff. What's going to happen is, as you get on a bigger platform, it's going to slowly chip away at the stigma of flat Earth, and then these other big channels are going to want to discuss it, because right now everyone's talking about free speech, right? And like that no topic should be censored. And so for these people that are kind of late to the train and pretending to be pro free speech now, after we've all been censored for years, but that kind of helps them, right? It's like, well, I'll platform any subject, anything should be free speech. I think that's going to get us in the door, right? Where, okay, prove it. Like the litmus test, if you're really pro free speech, is going to be, well, can you talk about Israel and can you talk about flat Earth? Because if you can't talk about those things, then you're not really about free speech. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I thought was crazy, was the government asking, these platforms to censor anything. Right there alone, shouldn't that be against the First Amendment? I mean, the government asking people, that's like asking people that are out on the street to stop talking about something, or making them all go stand in a corner by themselves where nobody else can hear them. It doesn't make sense to me that I could see stock, people that own stock maybe at a stock owners hearing, a meeting, that you would say, okay, yeah, we don't want this and we don't want that. That's okay. But for the government to ask them to censor certain things, that kind of goes against everything, the right to believe what you want and then speak freely about what you want openly. The government has no say whatsoever on what people are talking about, unless it's trying to incite violence. That's the only thing you can't do. Speak about. So yeah, that always rubbed me the wrong way back in 2017, where people were for that. They were like, yeah, they shouldn't be promoting this. And it's like, well, they're not promoting it. The algorithms are promoting it because so many people are watching it. It's not like YouTube, there were people in YouTube that were promoting it. It was the algorithm doing it. And then they changed the algorithm openly. They said it. So yeah, I think people are going to really at least be willing to hear you out more now, once they hear that this was censored. And I think that's one thing we really need to mention on all the shows people go on, people out there that do the interviews. Make sure you mention that, it was openly said. Anybody can go look it up, find it on YouTube in 20 seconds. Flat Earth censored in congressional hearings. It's that easy, and you can watch the head of YouTube say it. Yeah, we put up a thing, or if they ask for, is the Earth flat, we give them videos that say, no, the Earth is a globe. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then we have like we have this pseudo free speech thing going on right now, where it's really just the art of shadow banning now, which is arguably more dangerous because you don't overtly censor someone and you just prevent them from being seen at all. Like if they censor Andrew Tate, they censor Alex Jones, everyone goes and finds them. They want to find out where they are now because they've been removed from the platforms. If you just censor them in the form of shadow banning, deprioritizing, removing from feeds, unfollowing, I mean, that's that's scary. And if you use AI to intelligently censor by way of shadow banning, I mean, I think that's what we're going into now, right? And that is way scarier to me than them outright banning you, because alternative platforms have been built now, right? So like you have Rumble, for example, that's growing exponentially. So outright banning doesn't really work as much now, but shadow banning is pretty dangerous.
Well, get this, on the show Thursday night, we were doing the tech show, and someone came into chat and says that they were over on, I forget the name of what's the search engine for Apple? Do you know?
No.
I forget what it is. Well, they said they were on that one, and they were hearing and seeing me put, people's chats up on the screen, but they weren't seeing any of those chats in theirs, not until they came over to Chrome search engine. They was on YouTube on both of them, but from a different, it's like they were dividing us through search engines that we use. Have you heard of that yet?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind. I had never heard of that one yet either. That depending on which, search engine you were, Safari. It was Safari. Yeah, they were on a Safari search engine through Apple, and they weren't seeing people that were using Chrome in their chat. So yeah, there, like you said, with this AI stuff, there's going to be all kinds of new ways we're going to be seeing them trying to keep us separated. Yeah, everybody keep on your toes when you see stuff like that. You got to let people know. I was thinking of doing a video on it. If anybody could try that out right now, if you have the ability to go through Safari, I don't know, is that just for Apple users? I have no clue.
I've never heard of it. Does anyone else have something they want to bring up or show or anything like that?
I'm empty, guys. I just arrived home and I want to say hello and apologize for my absence in the last couple of weeks, but I didn't have time to prepare.
No worries, Hero. Family always comes first, man. I'm just glad we get to hear from you. I hear things are still pretty wild down there in Argentina.
How is it, Argentina?
Yeah, I hear it's kind of crazy right now.
Yes. If you take my comments in the last couple of years, sharing my experience anytime that I'm here, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy and crazy and crazy, and it's the same as usual. We are being dominated by the economy paradigm, and in this case, we are in the worst times of all in terms of the economic in Argentina. I have in first person the experience to have people near to me, not family, but friends of friends, that are deciding if they eat 1 or 2 times a day, things like that, which is something that I never even hear about it. Maybe people that belong to the really low class and the poor class and things like that, but never in the in the middle class. That is the of course you have a wide range of different lifestyles here, but in general, and a lot of people that belong to the middle low class, they get into the poor class just in the blinking of an eye, with the new presidents in the couple of the first month. So it's crazy seeing that, and a lot of new people sleeping on the streets, being in that conditions, without belong to being people that maybe there are drunks or junkies, things like that. No, normal people that are from day to night, the rent of a house triple, and not the salary. So they start saying, okay, man, I don't have family that help me, and the only way the only thing that I can do is just go and sleep on the street, or trying to find some place, held by the government to give me food and a room. But it's a little bit the situation right now in Argentina, and we are having right now, for example, the prices in terms of the food, commodities, cloth, things like that at European prices. But at that level, for example, 2 months ago when we did the Flathead conference here in Argentina, a couple of friends from Spain arrived to my home, like a second time in a row, and they were surprised by the prices because it's more cost, it's more expensive than Spain. Right now, if you go out to have a dinner in a regular restaurant, you're gonna spend like $15 to $20, which is something crazy for a person that the salary is $300-400 per month. You cannot spend $20, just one person. If you have a family of 4, you're gonna spend like 30% of your salary in one night that you just go to a regular restaurant that you are used to do that in the last year and spend $5, because Argentina used to be a very cheap country for the tourists that come here and spend their dollars, their euros, but really a nice balance between, okay, it's nice to go to Argentina, it's a nice country, have a lot of things to do, and for my economy that I live just in Portugal or Spain, not rich countries like Switzerland or Luxembourg. They come here and say, okay, with my salary of 1,500 euros, I can spend like 1 month easily in Argentina, going from north to south, which we have like 4,000 kilometers in wide. Our country is very, very big, so you can go to the snow and you can be in the desert and you can go and take some super nice wines in the Cordillera of Los Andes, things like that. Right now, an European that come here, it's more expensive than their own country. So we become like a very, very expensive country, even for people that belong to so-called, quote unquote, first countries. So it's crazy. Imagine that for the people that maybe have a salary in dollars, on euros, for the own Argentinians. It's the level of that we are living today.
I hope they get that stuff figured out soon, man.
No, man, that's just empty words for us. We are hearing that like for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
but you need to do what you need to do to survive and trying to. It's what happened. It's the present that we have. So we are used to that and trying to survive in the best way with the big smile in the face.
Oh, bless you, hero. Wild world. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad here too, with the homelessness and things like that. It's even starting to hit the suburbs now a lot more, I'm seeing. Not just the major cities and places like that. But it's not that bad yet. Not close to being that bad yet. Not sure where it's headed. Things are getting crazy. So what do you guys hear down there about wars going on around the world? Does your news talk about stuff like that?
Yeah, no, of course. But we have a president which is really pro-Zionist. It's like Donald Trump. So he loves Israel. He belonged to that type of handlers. And he said, well, we cannot be neutral with this Third World War. So we position it to defend and support Israel and blah, blah, blah. So for the first time, we have a president here that, openly declared this is our position and we support Israel in the case of a big conflict. And that never happened in Argentina. We used to be always, it doesn't matter if we have a president that belongs to the right or the left or whatever. We also be neutral in that things, because Argentina is not a military power country or things like that. We don't have money to spend or send soldiers and equipment and food to anywhere. And we hear about that. It was with the things between Palestine and United States. We don't have yet the type of protest that you suffer in the couple of days. I saw InfoWorld for Greg Rees report that in the universities, Netanyahu declare that we need to stop this. We cannot have this type of protest in terms of pro-Palestine, things like that. And a lot of aggressive policemen start, fight with the Protestants. We don't have that type of thing, but in the news you hear about the conflict in the Middle East, and in this case we have a very, very pro-Zionist, openly declared pro-Zionist president. That never happened.
Yeah, what a world! What a world! And honestly, like, to really get into that, it's almost like can't even talk about it here. That's how you know. That's how you know it's ridiculous. But I mean, I guess that's basically the prerequisite to be in office anywhere now.
Yeah, somebody was talking about maybe possibly passing law about some of this stuff on campuses. Something. I saw about free speech under attack. I'll have to see if I can't find it. It was early this morning when I saw it. But yeah, I was, because that's like a big thing here, at least in this country. I don't know what the free speech laws are there, but yeah, that's kind of like one of the.
You have free
real big
speech
ones
until you have free speech until you start talking. If you want to talk in the net, in the social net or things like that, if you are not a public person, maybe you can talk. If you start having some credibility and you are, a public person, a public profile, like not just in the politics, but also in maybe in the theater or in television or that type of business, and you are starting, you start to talk a lot pro-Palestine, not pro-Palestine in the sense of Palestine, but in the atrocities that Israel is committing to that people. You expose yourself to be to lose your job, and nobody opens the door anymore, and things like that.
Wow. So, yeah.
It's the same thing
here.
all over the place, Yeah, it's the same thing all over the place. And remember that Argentina is the second country with most Jews living on the territory. You are the first one in the United States, and the second one is Argentina.
Which is kind of boggles my mind, since didn't they say a lot of the Germans moved to Argentina as well?
Yes, in the south of Argentina, yeah. But that is also the place which is called Patagonia. That is the place where Theodor Herz talks in his lectures and writings that Palestine and Argentina will be the promised land. And that promised land in terms of the Argentina is the south of Argentina, which is the Patagonia. And right now we have a lot of things that point to we start losing a lot of power in the south of Argentina, and a lot of Jews, Zionists come there, and with this president they are gaining a lot of territory, power, and they skip like 6 steps that maybe with another type of politics they take like 7 years to accomplish what they accomplished in the first fourth month of the new president.
Now, have you ever had a king or a monarchy that has ruled Argentina, or have you always been?
No, man.
Sovereign?
All America, it's not a monarchy. We used to have like I don't know how to say in English, a virreinato, which is like, well, something that depends or used to depends of the monarchy of Spain, but in the 18th century
yeah, he came to Brazil, didn't he, for a little while, like a decade, and declared Brazil, Spain, because he had lost Spain for a little while, but then they took it back over, and his son came over or stayed, but he wasn't.
We get our freedom, like you from England, supposedly. We get the freedom from Spain, but then we have a short period of freedom, and then England start coming, in camouflage way with the Freemasonries and other stuff, and then we came the War of Malvinas, the Falklands, and all that kind of thing. It's the same old story. Yeah, it's the same old story.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, like even in the chat right now, are talking about we have hate speech laws. Like, really, it's not a hate speech law. Honestly, a lot of people are kind of misreporting that. So yeah, they passed the Anti-Semitism Act or whatever, but it's about like, it is violative of the First Amendment, but it isn't a free speech law, right? It's federally funded restrictions, meaning that like a university that's public and federally funded, the student can be punished by that university after being pressured by the federal government if those things take place. So Like, that is a violation of the First Amendment that has things listed within there that is to the First Amendment, but it isn't like they passed a hate speech law in America. They said if you take money from the federal government, you should crack down on anti-Semitism, and here's the definition of it. It's obviously still ridiculous, but it's like people shouldn't misrepresent what it is. That's like kind of helping them out, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's why I didn't really read into it too much, or even it was just popping up on a bunch of my feeds, and I was like, well, what is this all about?
It's insane though, right? I mean, but what's also funny is now you have all these like conservatives talking about it. Like, I've covered that law for 5 years. I've pulled that definition up from, it's like the Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, and it was pushed through an executive order by Trump, and I've pulled that up and read through it 20 times, and we've been like, this is insane, right? They're sneaking in the foundation for future hate speech laws, like free speech laws, and there's more that people still aren't even talking about. There are entire acts before this. It's just funny right now, everyone's talking about it and misrepresenting it, so kind of sketchy. But I don't know. To me, I think this is very sketchy and kind of crafted, Hegelian dialectic, and have the leftists go against Israel so that they can make it look like, standing up for Israel is going against the crazy leftists, so that they can kind of water it down and then create a cover to come in with these speech laws, right?
I was wondering, like, when they were teaching these children this stuff over the last decade and a half, whatnot, 2 decades, the whole, white man bad, colonialism bad, and then I knew it was only going to be a matter of time before something popped off over there in the Middle East again. And what did they think was going to happen? I'm pretty sure this was all orchestrated and planned out, like to a T. They knew that these college kids were going to be acting like this when this happened.
But I mean, you have to understand that they have reasonable concerns as well. So their reasonable concerns get thrown away, right, when it's like bundled up with the left, and they act so ridiculous. But like, obviously, seeing what's going on over there, a normal person is going to say that it's ridiculous. You're going to actually have to be inundated with Fox News around the clock to somehow believe a narrative that it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's all so crazy. But I do think it is clearly crafted. I certainly don't see a law protecting, speech against white people. Like, how can you just have one group, right? At the beginning of it, it says like anti-Semitism, like calling for violence against Jewish people. It's like, that's already against the law.
Yeah, calling for violence against anyone is against the law. Why do we need to emphasize this on a certain group of people? Yeah, it's
all pretty crazy. On more of the Flat Earth tip, let's see, I'll shout out, we have Flat Earth Fridays. So if you're on X, you can go check out Flat Earth Fridays. They normally run it all Friday night, all through Saturday. They have a bunch of people come on there. I know Dave was on there for a bit. So they run it for like many, many hours, and then tons of people come on. So lots.
Yeah, I hear you on there all the time.
Yeah, I like to pop in there.
Early in the morning, I'll get up, and I'll hear you on there sometimes even.
Yep.
And then I know Dave will jump on there. Yeah, there's all kinds of people over there, and you guys have some good conversations, and you keep it respectful for the most part. It's not a bunch of people screaming over each other.
Yep, exactly.
So I really like it. You guys keep it, tight knit and the conversation on topic.
Yeah. Also, so we were kind of talking, and someone was saying, like, the problem is you got to make Flat Earth cool, right? Like that it's hard to bring it up in these bigger circles. Like a content creator with a good following was saying it's hard to bring it up because it's not cool. Like, it's just not cool. Like to challenge the moon landings is like cool, And a lot of conspiracies are cool. Like, it's okay to do it, right? But flat Earth is not. And you have to find a way to kind of break that societal stigma so that you can even have the conversation, so that people can talk about it, as opposed to just immediately being ridiculed, etc. And we were trying to.
I couldn't believe the people under 35 was like over 30%. That's huge. That's just enormous. So it's just a matter of time, really. But I don't even think it's going to take that long. As quickly as it's happened so far, like, I never thought that this was going to happen in my lifetime, as big as it's already gotten. I was not expecting that. When I first started making videos in 2016, and, you know, there was quite a few people out making videos already by that time. But I never expected to see it on, like, a platform as big as InfoWars. It's just, yeah. It keeps surprising me. I'll say that.
Yeah, so I think one of the big ends, and I can show this here, is like the ether. I know it's so funny because people get so triggered about that as flat earthers, and they're very adamant we shouldn't talk about the ether. And they're just wrong. So there's this guy that's going pretty viral talking about the Malaysian air flight that disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this video. Have you guys seen the video?
No, I haven't. Is
All
this, yeah, 370.
Yeah, let's check this out. So MH370, the Malaysian air flight that disappeared, they said it went into the ocean, and they went and did a search and didn't find anything from the plane. There were a lot of people on that plane that had rights to the patent of these, like, cutting edge semiconductors, which obviously we use that for, like, all of our, like, advanced electric technology now and computers. And once they died, right, it defaulted to the company ownership, and then the patent that had been pending for a super long period of time immediately went through and got approved. So once they were out of the picture, went to the company, then the patent got approved.
Nothing sketchy there.
Yeah. Now this is supposedly leaked military footage of what happened to the plane. I'm not saying this is real, but it's pretty wild. So if you've never seen it, let's check it out. Tell me what you think. So you got you got the same footage, right? Just different color contrast, and one's thermal, one's regular. You can see this thing flying around it here.
Yeah. 2 of them now, 3 of them.
You saw that?
It just kind of bloop and disappeared.
Yeah. I did see someone point out that it looks like the clouds are not really moving though. Like the background's static, but clouds do kind of sometimes look like they're static. I don't think that's necessarily proof or disproof.
Yeah, only for a few seconds like that. You wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of movement in the clouds.
Here's another one. I am going somewhere with this, by the way. I think it's important.
That was funny, though.
Bloop. Can I throw in my 2 cents?
Yeah, go for it.
So what if they were trying to make a break for it to go beyond the ice wall, and whatever is guarding that, this advanced technology, maybe these Foo Fighters were like you're too far, and they were trying to stop them, turn them around, and then whatever happens, happens. Just a thought.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I heard there were some really smart people on that flight.
Yeah, with very important patents.
Yeah. Bloop. Now, I just, I have a hard time believing this footage. Maybe like a
that should be. I'm
reenactment.
sure
but-
that's everyone's instinct, right? This has got to be fake. But apparently, supposedly, a lot of people have tried to prove it fake, and they haven't been able to do it. And I don't know how legit that is or isn't, but
No, I believe there's stuff that can do. I don't know about the whole end of it where it goes bloop, but yeah, I believe there's craft out there that can do that. I'm just saying that that's MH370. Who was recording this while this happened?
supposedly the
to this
military.
plane? Now I could buy that. I could buy that.
What he says.
If you were the military and all you're doing is monitoring pretty much what's going on, you know. Now, is that one of our craft stopping them from leaving?
Well, that's what
Or
this
is
guy's
that-
saying. That's what he's saying that this was the videos were captured by U.S. military assets and leaked to the public, and that this is showing that they have anti-gravity technology. And he goes on to say stuff like Tesla was right and all this stuff, right? And so that's where I ended up replying to him. And I explained, like, you keep saying Tesla was right, but then you turn around and say things like to create a space-time bubble, right? And I explained that those are obviously, like, can't coexist. Although I pointed out that Tesla did kind of say what we allegedly see in the footage is possible, because he said when the ether is thrown into infinitesimal, prodigious worlds of velocity, it manifests as matter. And when the motion resides, it reverts back into the ether. So he said that you can make matter basically manifest or disappear based on vibrational motion, or really vortices. Anyway, so I kind
Maybe
of point
that's what
out
they
that,
were doing around that plane.
yeah. Like in theory, it's not necessarily
Mhm.
impossible in an etheric framework. And I'm like, so I'm like, are you controlled? And this is where they try to like absorb the ether, but somehow pretend it works with relativity and whatever. So I kind of broke it all down. And then he says, like almost all science, no one person is all correct or all wrong. Einstein-Rosen bridge, a wormhole, is what we're seeing in 2 videos. Curvature is everywhere. Ether is the medium by which our reality is painted. They're not mutually exclusive. We live in a holographic universe. I mean, this guy's gone super viral. He was just on Blaze TV. What's the guy's name?
TV. Oh, is that
Glenn Beck?
Glenn Beck, yeah. So anyway, and then I kind of exposed that as well. So I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is this is much more like an acceptable type of topic, right? Like, what are UFOs? What's the military hiding from us? Was the ether actually true? Was Tesla correct? I mean, you'll see tons of people that talk about extraplanetary civilizations and blah, blah, blah. Interdimensional beings and quantum 13 dimensions. Yeah, and they'll talk about the ether. Throw the ether around a lot of time. You also see in like this kind of more new agey, more metaphysical group, they'll talk about the ether a lot. They don't understand the implications of an ether though, right? Like they don't know kind of what they would classify as like this nerdy technical understanding of the history of ether and how it means the earth can't be moving through space. Now that I wouldn't necessarily call that cool, right? I wouldn't say like, oh well, if you actually look at the perpendicular propagation of interferometry, then there should have been an interference pattern based on 30 kilometers per second, but there wasn't. And that, like, you really get into the specifics of it. I'm not going to say that that's cool per se, but what I'm saying is it's an in, because what actually happened was they threw the ether out because it would mean the earth is not moving. They brought Einstein in, flipped all physics on his head. Then Tesla said, I have a dynamic theory of gravity that's going to dispel this nonsense that is the curvature of space once and for all. And then that was a speech he gave on his birthday, and then he died right after that. If someone comes in right now and says, Tesla didn't even exist, like, I don't really think that's particularly fruitful. I don't really know how you could prove he didn't exist. Maybe he didn't. I know someone that their grandfather wrote letters back and forth to Tesla. They have it in like their family safe. I mean, they came in and stole his work and hid it. You know, his understanding is extremely detrimental to their scientism that they've pushed on us, right? So if he didn't exist, what is attributed to him is still not good for them. You know what I'm saying? But do you guys kind of see where I'm going with that? Which is that it's actually kind of an in. So if you tell someone that the ether exists or ether cosmology or anything like that, people aren't going to have this visceral reaction that they have to flat Earth, which means they're going to get into the conversation for a second. You're going to go ether, stationary Earths, geocentrism, flat Earth, right? And by the time you get to flat Earth, the whole like this guy's stupid, it's out the window. It's obvious that they know way more, they're way more researched, they're intelligent, and that they're like blowing your mind with all kinds of information. They're blowing a lid on like a major deception. You can't like get all the way through that conversation and then hear them say that the Earth's a plane and like pretend that they're stupid all of a sudden. And I don't know. It's just something to think about. That was kind of my idea is like integrating the fact that they came in and stole Tesla's work and then they started making all this technology behind the scenes. They pushed out this pseudo physics to the world so we wouldn't know. So there was a major gap between what they were doing and what we understood about physics. Is like you could probably get a lot more mainstream ripples that way. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more people hear it, just, like you said, you have to, it's best if you do it in that order. The more people say ether, possibility, this and that, yada, 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 but you got to know your song well before you start singing, right? You explain to them how, well, they had to remove the ether to make heliocentrism work. So, in all reality, when we're talking about the ether, we're really talking about geocentric. We're not really moving. And then, like you said, from there you break it down. But yeah, I'm all for more and more people hearing that. It, like you said, it's an in to the flat Earth, because all the whole paradigm shifted after Michelson Morley. They had to do away with it because it disproved heliocentrism. And not a lot of people know that. And yeah, they've called it different names and tried to do that for a while, but they've all come out and admitted. How many of these Nobel laureates have come out and said, well, yeah, the ether's real. We've called it the Higgs field or this or that, or, we've given it different names over the years, but yeah, it has to be there.
Yeah, it's just an idea, right? Like, obviously, I do think like flat Earth is boiling over anyway. We should embrace the term. We shouldn't necessarily run away from the term. I'm just saying, like, even conversationally, I think that if you get right into, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's arguments for both sides. I'm just saying, like, I think that this is a major part of it. Obviously, I think that some of the major truths that come with flat Earth is one, that the Earth's in the center of the universe, so it's not moving. Two, there may be more land. And three, we don't understand physics properly, where we could progress as a society when it comes to free energy and kind of understanding the way that the realm works. And those are kind of like the three major things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And only one of those.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who you're talking to, really.
Only one of those are about flat, right? Like extra land, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really just depends on who you're talking to. When you're talking to the more educated people in physics and things like that, that's when you can bring up stuff like the ether and then break it down, and they would understand it. To where a normie, it might be easier to be like, yeah, hey, we see too far. Look at, did you know the Earth curves over 60 feet in just 10 miles? And they're not going to believe you. Nobody ever does. That's my big question I always ask. And it's easy to remember. 10 miles, 66 feet. The Earth drops. And I'll ask them, how much do you think that the Earth, slopes down and curves away from you? How far do you think that drops after 10 miles? And usually it's like, I don't know, maybe 20 inches, 10 inches. And then you tell them 66 feet. And of course, they don't believe you at first. And then I'll usually bring up an Earth curve calculator. But then I'll go tell them to find their own, or I'll say go to AutoCAD. AutoCAD will do it for you. But I'll tell them to go, find it themselves. But yeah, once that clicks in for people, it's hard to forget that. That's my favorite one to bring up. 10 miles over water. That water is curved 66 feet down, dropped from where your feet are.
I think another thing that I was thinking about too, thinking about this. So if any major thing comes out, people are instantly going to think about FE. For example, if it comes out that they're faking space, they're not really going to outer space. Like they can't. They don't really do it. Everyone's going to immediately think, maybe those flat earthers were on to something. Maybe they were right. Same thing with the ether, right? If it really comes out that the ether does exist and it was improperly thrown out, a lot of people were like, wait a minute. Like a lot of flat earthers say that there's an ether, right? And that it was thrown out. Maybe they were on to something. Right, and same with geocentrism. If someone finds out that the Earth isn't moving, or it turns out, maybe it's in the center of the universe, they're going to immediately think, maybe those flat earthers are onto something, because we've been saying those things the whole time. And yeah, I mean, I think obviously flat Earth itself is very important, and it's all about just going to the R value, but it just, for some reason, bro, people's brains shut off and they just can't have that conversation until you can get past some of the walls they have up, And I think that this is actually maybe more dangerous, because they got flat Earth the general public sentiment about flat Earth, although laughable, is that, oh, we can dismiss these people, they don't understand basic physics, they're stupid, high school dropouts, blah blah blah. And although that's incorrect, that's kind of been a successful little propaganda effort. So if they have you over there labeled like that in the corner, and then they start rolling out UFOs and claim stories of relativity and wormholes and space-time bubbles and like that transition period of disclosure is like our moment to attack. And if we kind of sit back and watch it, we're going to watch them be transitioned right from the current scientism to the new one. And then we would have missed our moment,
Now, I just had a thought about this, what we're watching on the screen. So what if those aren't ours? What if those are the humans that did get away, And that's some otherworldly tech from some other outer land, and it's actually helping this plane get away. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that this technology is that. I don't think it's all that big of a deal. Now, if it disappears,
well, it might just
that's
be cloaking the plane. It could just be, doing something so the military can no longer see the plane, because they say that all Antarctica is guarded, right, by the UN.
Weren't there stories of the Foo Fighters, these orbs following aircraft in Antarctica?
Supposedly they kicked our butts, didn't they? Didn't Admiral Byrd take a fleet down there?
But they talked about these orbs that were following the plane, and they called them Foo Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it actually even comes from Vietnam, right?
Yeah, I remember, what was it, in 1955 at was it a presidential something or other, or a New Year something in Washington, D.C.? There were the orbs in the background that people saw floating.
Yeah, so the term Foo Fighters was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various unidentified flying objects or mysterious aerial phenomena seen in the skies over the European and Pacific theaters of operation. Though Foo Fighters, initially described as a type of UFO, reported and named by the U.S. 415th Night Fighter Squadron, the term also commonly used to mean any UFO sighting from that period. Of course, you have the band now, right? But the term comes all the way back from World War II, so that does kind of overlap right with the Antarctica time, right? Because obviously we became obsessed with Antarctica right after World War II. We being the U.S. government, obviously.
Yeah, which operation was it that they went down there with, I mean, aircraft carriers and destroyers and all that, and then came back, you know, half blown out of the water? Was that us who did that, or was that another country who did that? I thought it was the U.S. Am I remembering wrong?
No, I mean I've heard something about that though. I don't really know the specifics of how legit it is, or the specifics of what it was.
Yeah, that may be why I didn't deep dive too deep into it. It's so hard to believe, you know, anything that, especially if it's declassified. How much of that stuff is put out for people to see, you know, to be disinformation? I mean, just because it says declassified and it used to be top secret doesn't mean that it was, you know, not purposely put there to mislead. You gotta be on your toes at all time. These people are crafty. No, I've never seen anything move like that in the sky. I've seen some stuff like way up there do some stuff through night vision.
Well, yeah, but I was telling Greg Reese this on the podcast. Like, so this technology isn't actually that impressive to me. I think that the biggest trick is they got the world thinking satellites are somehow like this crazy advanced technology, and you know, like these rockets, those are the cutting edge. Like, oh, you know, Elon is creating all these new rockets they can land back down. So everyone's like, rockets and satellites are the cutting edge of our explorative transportational technology. And I think it's really not. I think even if satellites are up there, it's like a caveman walking up to a stream or whirlpool in some water and like throwing a stick in there and like, look, it moves around with the water. Like, of course it does. You know, like that's primitive. That wouldn't be impressive. Even in their fairy tale, they say they just throw it up there and it starts free falling around the ball. They just have to find the sweet spot and they're good. And I think there's truth to finding the sweet spot if there was a rotating universe and an etheric medium, and who knows how real or not real any of these satellite stories are. But my point is, I think that this is more like the real advanced technology, right? Like whether this video is real or not, but what people call UFOs. Nazis wrote about them in the 30s, whatever. I think that's also not incredibly complicated, and I'm not claiming to know exactly how it's done. I'm just saying there are many possibilities. There's electrogravitic propulsion, and then you can look at, they could have just mimicked bumblebees, and bumblebees are not aerodynamic, of course, and their wings are way too small and don't generate enough lift. And then they said, oh, but their wings move at such a crazy way that it basically interacts with this cavity inside their body that creates this really, really high frequency resonance. And what they do is they match the resonance with the surrounding EM fields. And when they match the surrounding EM fields frequency, they basically are able to float or fly, and they creates this little like magnetic bubble around them, basically. And they're able to fly through 60-mile-per-hour crosswinds. So really, you could have one of these devices just like vibrating at a crazy rate relative to its environment, the EM fields in its environment, matching it, and then being able to kind of fly whichever way they want with a little force field around it, basically. Just like a bumblebee. A bumblebee can fly through 60-mile-per-hour crosswind. That makes no sense.
Yeah, and they don't feel that inertia either. Have you ever heard of the Searle generator?
No.
Designed by John Searle. That's something you need to check out. It's one of those almost fantastical things. He figured out a way to make a generator using a bunch of different magnets and certain materials in between them and all this, but supposedly it did the same thing. And he actually built UFO-shaped saucers that had their own classification. It wasn't like top secret. It was over in England. You know how they have call signs for different types of planes and whatnot? Well, this was an unmanned drone. It had its own call sign and number and everything. And they would fly it around. There was no pilot in it. And they would fly it around using radio ham operator controllers. And they would kind of guide it along, just bouncing it around using frequencies to control it. And he made it out of balsa wood to show that it was creating this magnetic force field bubble around it, and it could take off and go real fast instantly on a dime and then come to a complete stop, and then, curves that a normal balsa wood shouldn't be able to take that. The stress on it should just disintegrate the balsa wood, moving at those speeds, at that angles, the G forces. And they were fine. Supposedly the BBC did a big documentary on it back in the 70s. Yeah, he got funded by a group that was all about trying to get to the moon. And his only stipulation was that he wasn't allowed to patent the technology. They got to keep all that stuff. Now, I don't know how real any of this stuff is. It's a really interesting story. So yeah, I think it would one that would be right up your alley, Austin, the Searle generator. But now people have tried to recreate this, and I've seen some recreations of it where these one guys in Russia, it looked like they spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars building their setup for it. And I don't see anybody going to those extreme lengths if there wasn't something really to it. Which made me think, hey, maybe there is something to this. But yeah,
No,
check
it's very
that out.
interesting. So when I started looking it up, I have certainly heard of that type of machine or setup. I just didn't know what it's called. Yeah, but like the ring lining up the magnetic fields. So like you have the rotating magnetic field, like a series of discs around it, right?
Yeah. And they end up being like tracks, the way you line the magnets up and the way that the other magnets aren't just regular, like one magnet. It's a bunch of magnets together that kind of roll around that freely. And once it gets going, one magnet from the back will push the magnet in front of it, which then pushes that magnet in front of it and in front of it. And then it just kind of keeps going around in a circle all by itself.
Someone said, I've heard the bees instantly drop out when the light is turned off. I've heard that as well, that if you turn all the lights off, that bees will just fall out of the sky. That's why you never see them at night and blah, blah, blah.
No, they need that sun. They really do. I found a bee underneath the car the other morning. I was like, oh, man, you must have been out here all night. And it could barely move. So I picked it up and I put it on this piece of metal that was sitting there in the sun. And 5 minutes later, it was fine. It got up and flew away.
Wow,
yeah, it's weird when they don't have that sun. Bees can't do it.
I heard even like lights, though. I heard even like artificial light. Have you heard that?
That's wild. No, I haven't heard that one.
I wouldn't want to do the test. I wouldn't want to like.
No, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't test on living things.
But also, I've ran across. So there's also something called non-contact pollen detachment, which is where the bumblebee flies over the flower, and they don't actually touch the flower, and the pollen just kind of levitates up and sticks to them and clings to them. Non-contact pollen detachment, and basically they get up in the air, they charge up, they fly over the flowers that are connected to the ground, and then the pressure mediates and the pollen sticks to them. And they did a test where they were introducing different charge to different flowers, and they would put this really bitter liquid food and then this really sweet food on different flowers. And though the bees obviously prefer the really sweet nectar food, they would, the majority of the time, they would go to even the flowers with the really bitter food if it had more charge. So they were flying around picking the flowers based on charge.
That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty crazy. And so
maybe that's how they know when it's ready. Until it hits a certain charge, they don't pick it.
And then we came in with some weirdo synthetic man-made test, right? But I think that the most efficient way to come up with this type of technology would be to imitate nature, probably. Well, then of course you get into even like the Germans, right? And the Germans, they called Einsteinian physics Jewish mysticism, and then they said they applied ether physics and had successful UFOs. And so I guess I'm bringing all this up to say, like, this is clearly, like, Flat Earth needs to take this. You know, we don't need to sit by and watch them roll out some, like, damage control propaganda narrative about UFOs. We need to blow the lid off of, well, this is utilizing an ether, and if there's an ether, you know, spoiler alert, the Earth is not moving. But don't worry, we can show you how it works. You know, here's a plane in a tourist field. That's just kind of my take there, but
Yeah, no, like you know, how long have, I mean, David has said it. 2024, it's different right now. Something is different, and you're right. I don't think you can just sitting back and, you know, seeing what's going to happen next isn't the right move right now.
let me read these donations off real quick. So shout out to people that supported on Ko-fi. We have thanks for your dedication and hard work in the FE community. Dakota Dunn, thank you for the super generous $100 on Ko-fi for half of the goal. What a legend. Thank you so much. And
much love.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words as well. So very generous. Thank you. And then we have November Austin for the Not a Professor Dave debate. We know his playbook and his toxic, arrogant approach. He doesn't even write his own content. I think the move in your intro is like Rabbit's last battle in 8 Mile. Tell the audience exactly what he's going to do and say and pre-dunk on him. That's hilarious. That's actually a great point. That's a great idea. You know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
8 Mile. He's like, yeah, I am white. Yeah, I do live in a trailer with my mom. Yeah.
So,
just say
so that
everything
debate's about 45 days away, right? Give or take.
I guess so. Yeah, mid-June.
So I'm going to share Austin's secret plan. He is allocating 1 second every day from now until then to prepare. So he's going to have a total of 45 seconds to prepare for this debate. So he's ready to go. So thank God we have the.
But now they know.
Well, secretly, you might do a second and a half. I'm not sure.
That's true, man. We might even pop off 3 minutes if I'm getting crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I obviously though, it's just to get the word out there, right? Like, I'll just tell you, I think you guys may be surprised who all saw the InfoWars conversation. I think people may be surprised. And it just takes, you know, Dave, you've actually been saying this for a long time. It just takes one person tweeting it out, and it's just like overnight.
It's in seconds. This whole thing can change in minutes worldwide. And we're there. We have enough people. I mean, the app just hit 180,000 people on the Friend Finder. So and that's just a little fraction of the people out there. So it literally takes one tweet from somebody that has a big account that's fed up, right? You got this channel that's got 1.5 million people that's going to have you on. That could be the breaking point right there.
Especially with who it's against, right? And then you also have, I was just say, one of those people that fit the description of what you're saying, like literally follows me on X. And so I guess what I'm saying is like, it is going to come, right? I guess it is the person who sees it beforehand, right? Like, which one of these people see that it's a good move to do it, right? You know?
It's becoming to that point where people are like, you know what? Maybe I want to be the one that does it first because it's out there enough right now. I was watching something earlier that said 4 years ago, the world, it was on Jim Brewer. 4 years ago, the world wasn't ready for this, but now they are. And I kind of agree with that. I think we've gotten to that point. So, you know, we know that you're listening out there, you know, people that never comment, you know, it's time. You know, the first one to speak up is going to be the hero of this breakthrough of humanity. This is what breaks us free. This is
Jim Brewer is one of my heroes. The way he
Yeah,
was
Jim's
talking
great.
about stuff, he came out with that first comedy skit when he came back after
Yeah.
all the nonsense, and he was just doing the Nazi walk and all that. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Thank you. It's about time somebody started saying this kind of stuff up on stage.
He's coming. He's touring up and down all across the country. But he's coming to Long Island, New York, at the end of the summer. So anybody in the New York area, I'm going to be going to that show. I'm going to do a meetup.
Empower.
Like at the theater, like a couple hours before. It's going to be great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is.
Wait, also one more plug. Eddie Bravo and Sam Tripoli are going to be in Ridgefield, Connecticut, June 22nd, and we're going to do a meetup at the Ridgefield Playhouse a couple hours before, and then watch the show. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of flat Earth talk there. So anybody in the Connecticut, Manhattan area that wants to go to Ridgefield, Connecticut, keep an eye out for that. We'll and I'll let everyone know when tickets are on sale.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, man. It's all very interesting because now I'm gonna say the job isn't done, but like a lot of the hard part of the job is done. Meaning, like now it's very obvious. Anyone that has eyes to see, it's very obvious that we're about to get on the big shows, and honestly, you've been getting on all the big shows for a while, like the biggest shows that any flat earther. And I think it's like that's really the battle. I think the only battle is it's overcoming the societal ostracism and like the blockade, because the information kind of speaks for itself. And the reason these anti-flat earthers freak out is because they're terrified of the idea of the general public just hearing the basic information. They're terrified of it.
Yeah. Though one thing though that we need to remember, and I forget to do it sometimes, but not lately. And I'm going to criticize you and Mark. You both didn't tell people a place to go after watching Brewer or it was a great interview with Greg Reese today. There was no like, what do you want to tell the people? Yeah, it's like you should say, don't Google flat Earth. It's being censored because anyone that's brand new listening, unless they hear a place to go, they're going to Google flat Earth.
Didn't Mark say
everyone just need to remember to do that. I don't care where you tell them. Tell them to go to my website. Tell them to go to Austin's website, Jaren's channel, GLOBEBUSTERS, whatever you want, whatever you think is the best. Just tell them to go there.
Infowars plugged me like to an annoying degree every single.
I was talking about Greg Reese. You guys had a nice high level conversation. It was awesome.
Oh, you already saw it?
I did. It was out today. It's great.
I didn't even know that.
It's the new people, the people that are new. You have to tell them about the censorship and a place to go. You have to just tell them one place to go and look. That's just my 2 cents.
No, yeah, that's a valid point. I guess I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Also, the reason that's a really good point is because I think that we take it for granted as a truther that you have to know how to research things. Like you have to know how to get past all the censorship. Like, because it's been like 7-8 years. I mean, it's been a solid 7 years.
We're so used to the censorship.
Yeah, like that. It's like a foregone conclusion. Like use pre-search. You're gonna have to go to Rumble and BitChute. And you're going to have to know how to type in specific limited keywords in BitChute or you won't get it. And they don't know any of that. That's like a whole new world for them.
Most people don't even know that there's censorship.
Yeah. Or like about this for sure.
Like we live in America, land of the free. There's no censorship here.
Yeah,
that's how they get away with it.
Where did you say you saw this? Where you said it's out. It's out where?
What, Brewer? I mean, you mean Greg Reese?
Yeah.
It's on his. Well, I get an email. It's on his email. I'll pop it in the chat.
Word. I mean, I just didn't know it was gonna be that fast. So yeah, but you guys see my meta point here, which is like okay. Look, so we talk to these people that are obsessed with flat Earth, but claim it's stupid and claim we're stupid, but they're like our groupies. And so we're not talking to them about how, like, when you send a high altitude balloon up 120,000 feet, the Earth looks flat. Because that is 7 years old, and they've already come up with 500 excuses for it, and they'll just all universally divert away and say, but look at this one, this lens is better, and it shows it's curved, I promise, trust me, bro, or whatever. The average person has never seen that. The average person has never seen the high altitude footage. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, because that's like one of your first times you get to see an actual, real visual piece of information as to the realm. You know, so when like everyone take yourself back to that moment when you first saw high altitude footage of the Earth looking like a plane. And if you can really remember the first time you saw it, it was like exhilarating and like very profound, I would assume, for almost everyone when you first saw it. And that's just one example of many of how if just people are shown that one of those videos and people are shown like the basic arguments and people are shown the long distance observations, sure, there's this anti-flat Earth group who've come up with like 1,000 little excuses for all of it, but they're terrified of the average person just seeing that stuff, the first primary day one stuff. Oh, his Substack, yeah, he mentioned that. And what's so crazy is like they have the cover of, well, those people won't be as informed, so they'll get deceived with your misinformation, and that's why we don't want you to be seen by as many people. So they're actually low-key pro-censorship, and that's why they have to push the narrative that like Dave and I are con men or whatever, because they have to push that we're trying to deceive people to justify their deplorable behavior, trying to keep us off those platforms. So long way of saying, they know that we have a compelling position, or you wouldn't do that. You'd be like, bro, let me help you get on the world's biggest show so we can all like expose how stupid this is. They know. That's why McToon went and hit up InfoWars and was like, it's a trap, don't have him on. And then Jaren's like, what are you doing? And he said, if he doesn't know how to handle it or what to say, Austin's going to look really good. And it's like, you know if the average person sees it, if someone like you's not there to like pull them back into the despair, like the darkness of despair, then they're gonna see the light.
How would
Did you see that
go
how
about
he got
handling
blindsided and he's like I never did anything like that, and then he realized that we knew something and he's like, well, I did say. What a slimy. Ugh.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's the worst. But
Hey.
like you've been right the whole time about that. We should act like that. I mean, who is that, right? We shouldn't even say his name for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, Zach, you're going to say something? I just want to go back on something real quick.
No, I think we just covered it there at the end right there.
So just to my case in point about telling people where to go, Simon Dan took a short video that I did on Why the Lie, that I was speaking to Flat Earth Social with Ian Leahy, and I had this great clip of Why the Lie and Hiding God and everything, and he did his normal stupid, just ridiculous, Simon Dan cut up of it, but the entire video had my window on it that said flatearthdave.com on the bottom. And I was wondering what this huge jump in sales on Friday was. The app sales tripled that day, and the subscriptions went up by 30% because of Simon Dan's hit piece on me. Because people are watching that. I'm thinking 90% of his subs are just bots anyway. But whatever number of real people on there, they got curious and they went to my website and they got the app.
That's fire, bro. He's doing better advertising than I am.
I almost want to send him a thank you letter, but I don't like having any connection to him.
Nah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Don't blame you.
No, it's like a lot of people have. So I guess he did like that IQ test thing, right? He did a video about an IQ test, and when I saw it, a bunch of people were sending it to me, and I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, I mean, no. What's funny is he didn't do good, but he's like, obviously he's proud of it. He's like posting it. I'm like, okay. And I went and did the test and like humbly breezed through the test, right? And then you get to the end and they want you to pay for it. I'm like, I know I did good. I don't care about paying for it. So I'm saying to say, like, people have been like, do a live IQ test with these people, and to kind of, combat this narrative that we're stupid. And I considered that, and I'm like, no, I don't think we should do anything like that. I don't think that we should even act like they exist. If you're screaming, do you know how many people claim I'm scared to debate them? Like, hundreds and hundreds of random people on the internet claim that I've been running from them for years and I'm scared to debate them. But they're chanting that to like a group of 20 people or whatever, right? Like, no one knows who they are. If I then go and reply to them and say, who are you? Tell me, when do you want to debate? I haven't been running from you. What are you talking about? Let's set it up. Now, thousands of people know who that person is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with all of them. It's like, who cares, bro? Like, it's like, I'll jump on a show where someone's not a flat earther, as long as they're just a normal person, that's cool, bro. I don't care. But when they're this other side of the coin, we should just completely ignore them. And people are like, well, you're about to debate Professor Dave. I'm like, well, that's a little different, because first of all, Dave Weiss, of course, on the panel, got like ambushed by them. And then he just was screaming over, interrupting, calling names, ad homing, and then like the demonically possessed moderator has this weird distorted like grin on his face the whole time. And then they want to push that out, and actually the fact they push that out shows that they know the average person won't really know what logic is or what fallacies are, or what actual debates and actual, like, they just want to see the flat earther ridiculed or whatever. And that, combined with the fact that if you Google flat earth, he's what's shown to everyone. So he has tens of millions of views, and he's propped up, and he's what everyone sees. And so, in my opinion, it's worth tactically accepting one debate with him. That's totally different than like these other random people.
Totally different than these other guys that are out there all the time engaging. He just does his own thing on his own. Hey, did you watch his last video?
No, I heard it's an hour long or something. I'm not watching.
It's in the first four. I watched like 2 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't even think that the professional Globers agree with what he's saying. It's just like so stupid. It's so ridiculous.
I guess I might watch it before the mid of June. That might be the only preparation I do. If it's an hour long, I'll put in, I don't know, I'll put in like a minute and a half a day. And, you know what I'm saying?
Did you see the robot polisher video?
4x speed.
Yeah. What is the fastest? Like, take it off YouTube, download it, and 4x it?
Yeah.
Did you see the robot polisher video where Professor Dave, it showed him saying, I really don't know anything about these topics I cover.
Yep.
I have people that do know, and they tell me what to say.
I pulled that from my stream, yeah. And like, what's so funny is, yeah. Anyway, it's worth it. I think we all agree it's worth it. But if there's someone that I've debated 10 times, and they're like constantly like nipping at your ankles, like, please just say my name and look at me for a second so I can get some viewers. That's super lame. And like, I mean, as much as I can't stand the guy, Professor Dave is in a different league than those guys. Like, content wise.
And hey, guys, I gotta cut out for some dinner. Thanks for not inviting me on, but I'm always invited on. I guess I just jumped in.
I called you. You're invited by way of a call. Did your phone ring?
Yeah, it did. So I guess
you were invited.
I'm always. I just normally don't show up. The other thing is that the Professor Dave video. I used to hate when Mark Sargent would say all publicity is good publicity, right? And I'm like, that's not true, right? And the Professor Dave video, I probably got 1,000 emails from people since it came out, however many years ago. They said, flat earthers are stupid, but I don't know why he acted that way. That was rude and everything. And now I have direct contact with this person that never would have had direct contact with us. And I would send them a playlist, my flat earth videos, playlist, whatever. And a couple days later, I'd get an email back a lot and saying, oh my God, this is real? This is real? So even that video has woken people up. So
real fast before you leave, Oh, never mind.
What do you got?
Nope, never mind. You'll understand later. All right. Well, cool, bro. What do you got coming up? You want to tell anybody about something you got coming up?
Hopefully this week. I'm testing tomorrow the new meetup maker on the app. I think it's going to be a game changer. Anyone that's having a meetup, anyone that's going on tour, whatever, you'll be able to put it in the app, and then people will be able to say, hey, notify me anytime there's a meetup within X number of miles, 100 miles, 500 miles, whatever you want to put in there. And then you'll literally get an email saying, hey, there's a meetup happening, June 22nd in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And it's going to be so good. And when you set up a meetup, it's going to create a group for you in the group chat, so people can go there, and then you have better communication than having to message everybody, again and again multiple times. And it's going to be a literally game changer as far as bringing people together. And hopefully I can approve it early this week and then get it on the App Store shortly after. So
Nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Big change. And then we're going to be launching the crypto part of the app where you can earn Dome. We talked about that, and don't go there. I'll see you later.
All right, wait, real fast. You got some shows you're doing or something? Don't you have a couple shows coming up?
What do I have coming up? I don't know. I don't have any big shows coming up. I got some small ones, but I'm just going to get some.
Oh, you've already
right
done
now.
the other bigger shows. Okay, it's all good. Well, thanks for
All right,
jumping
man.
on, brother.
Thanks. See you.
Much
Later.
love, Dave.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Cool, man. Very cool. No, that's okay. Sorry, I was looking. Yeah, he already posted it. That's very cool. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get on my soapbox here or anything, bro, but like, I think this is what's really aggravating to watch, right? Is, okay, right now, what do we really need in FE? We need like an army of people. So we need 100 robot polishers. We need Discords that are run professionally. We need Telegram channels. We need podcasts. We need documentaries. We need an X presence. We need people pumping out educational videos that are shorter and easy to digest. We need to start hosting subject-specific professional debates. And I have a lot of things I'm trying to work with people behind the scenes with a lot of that stuff, but I'm just one guy. I can only do so much. And in addition, if that right there, the stuff I just listed, that's a lot. And we also need to kind of come together as a community and be like, okay, I think that we can agree this person's a good representative for us. This person's a good representative for us. This person's a good representative. This person's pretty decent on camera, can kind of handle the pressure. This person's really good behind the scenes, making the content, whatever. And then we're like, we need to make sure these people can do this full time when we're about to hit this like major moment. And if we need to put, if all that is needed, you need to put that much time and energy into those very, very important things. If you're putting all kinds of time and energy into random, anonymous internet trolls and anti-flat earthers begging for attention and streams and debates, and you'd be amazed how many flat earthers send me videos that say, did you know FTFE is covering your InfoWars? You should jump on. Did you know McToon is covering your InfoWars debate? You should go call him out. It's like, no, I didn't know that. I assumed that, and I don't care. And why are you watching it? And not to say you should always be like, well, let's hear the other side, whatever, but do you get my point? Like people are having so much of their time and energy drawn away to these people that only exist because of that time and energy, when really we have so much stuff that we need to put our time and energy into as just truthers in general, and that's not even just about flat earth. Because if the ripples start hitting the mainstream, we need to have like all kinds of new, captivating, exciting content from all angles. Music, audio podcasts, video podcasts, edited videos, like documentaries, building big channels, right? That's what we need. We need to really put like light a fire underneath the audit NASA and expose NASA thing. We need to kind of be like, look, either you're blocked or muted or whatever. Like, I'm just gonna block you. We get it. You disagree. That's okay. Like, why are you here? You know, it's just for the people that are interested in the information and want to learn and hear it out. So that's kind of my take. I think that's very important. I think that can't be overstated. If I was new to FE and I came and saw some of that, I would just be like, this is super lame, and I don't really want to even be a part of that. And I know many people have told me the opposite is true, which is they look into it and they see the people defending the globe or claiming to debunk flat Earth being so toxic and hateful and vicious and mean and ugly and lame and nerdy, and they're like, that made me go look into FE. The same can be said the other way, right? If you're like that in the other direction, it'll make people just not look into it. As people really, I mean, like, I've been saying this for a few weeks now, and it just like doesn't really seem to be landing. I don't know how else to say it, or if it's not being received coming from me, but people have got to just swallow the ego, bro. Let go of all the built up resentment over the years of people attacking you or making fun of you. This is your moment. You made it. We're about to hit the mainstream. I promise. Okay. You're about to have your moment of vindication or whatever. And like, just swallow the ego. Don't be like real aggressive and like rub it in people's face, or that's just my opinion. Is like, find a way to focus on, like, think about how beautiful it is that a lot of people are so close to hearing this truth that probably changed your entire life. Wouldn't you want that? Because that means that their children are now going to be affected, and how those children are raised is going to be affected, and it's like a real life impact on society. Our focus and energy should be on that. And of who cares about, like, what does some person that hates themselves and denies the creator and says that we should mutilate and bombard children with bioweapons at a young age, like, what does that person have to do with this other major goal that we have? So that I said I was going to go on a rant, so that's my sermon, but I hope that people kind of take what I'm saying seriously, because I would love to know that as I try to go somewhere, I say whatever, I know that who's behind me, right? If I look behind me, or these people go and look at what's behind me or standing beside me, they're going to be like, oh, this is like, oh, I've made it home. They're going to feel this is exactly where I need to be. And if it's like these toxic throw mud, like where you can tell there's clearly like 7 years of history between these people screaming at each other, they're like, I don't want to, that's not for me. And it's going to push people away, and it's going to also make sure that we can't all focus on the other things that we need to put our time and energy into as a community. So there's that.
Well said. Yeah, it's very important to, accept the win graciously. That's one of the worst things. I mean, sore losers, that's common. People are upset when they lose. They're not at their best, But sore winners, nobody likes a sore winner, ever. Just think of any of your favorite movies growing up, or your favorite stories or whatnot. Nobody liked it when somebody was the sore winner. They didn't, it doesn't come off well.
Yeah, and like any hint of sadism is very like repulsive.
Yeah.
Meaning like finding enjoyment in the humiliation of other people.
Yeah, it's not a good look for anyone, ever. So, you were woken up to this before a lot of people. If you're sitting here listening to this right now, you probably got woken up to this truth before a lot of other people were. So consider yourself kind of like an ambassador of this truth. Represent this truth well. And the communities that, have been sharing this for the last decade, close to a decade. Have some dignity with your win.
And we should be excited about passing the torch, yeah?
Yeah. I'm so proud of all these new people coming out, and I mean, the stuff they're doing over there on the ether cosmology, space audits, those guys are just blowing me away. Every time I listen to them, I learn something new. Just great research being done in this community now. Again, it's never really stopped. We've hit stagnant times here and there, but it seems like these new people coming up and learning about it and starting to make their own content. We're starting to see some real gems out there. Some stuff that's going to, stuff that's way ahead of its time right now. The stuff some of these people are talking about, it took a few years for the whole idea of the electrostatics creating the downward vector. It wasn't like, I like, you think it's going to be, you show somebody it with your own stuff and you're like, here, I did this, look. And you think that's going to be it. Okay, yeah, this is how it's, but it doesn't work like that. It takes a while for an idea to spread. And the stuff that they're covering over there now, the research that's being done now, and the greater comprehension of how this place works, I think a lot of it's going to come out of there, what you guys are doing over there, Austin. That you and those group of guys over there are like next level. Just, I love sitting back and just listening. I'll jump in the chat, not too much, pretty much to just say later and thanks, stuff like that. But I love, because I just can't stand seeing trolls. So I just don't even read the chat. You guys are talking so much awesome stuff on the show, I don't need to pay attention to the chat at all. But yeah, the amount of research that is being done there, or just the amount of knowledge that's already, stored in all those brain cells, you guys are crushing it. So thank you.
Yeah, shout out to them, Ether Cosmology. I think that Flat Earth is a little different than everything else, right? For sure. I mean, the whole genetic modification psyop was rough, right? People would be calling it anti-vaccine, science denier, and all kinds of names. And Flat Earth is like that on steroids, right? And so I get it. Because I mean, even I struggle with it, where I make a post, I put a lot of thought into a post. I think it's thought provoking and profound, and I go look at it, and it's just like a bunch of children just throwing mud and calling names and ridiculing, and it's very frustrating. And then calling you a liar, and then what they're saying is just wrong, the information's wrong, and twisting what you're saying, but in a convincing way. And to sit back and watch someone appear to be convincing while they're actually being dishonest or lying about what you said and straw manning it, and then they'll be like, that's why he has to run away, they can't answer this, you're very tempted to get in there and correct them. But that's why they do that. See, what you may be underestimating, you may be underestimating how insane some people are. They will intentionally straw man what you say. We had a guy on Flat Earth Friday, he popped up and Sacred read one of his tweets about me. And he said, what's it's on InfoWars, and just said that the cause of gravity is just that it's an effect. So the reason, the reason why things fall is because it's just an effect. And I called him out and I said, that's not what I said. And that's not what I said. And this is what I actually said. And why would you say that? Why would you lie about what I said? And he was like, I don't have a problem with it. And I'm like, a problem with what? Lying? He said, yeah, I don't really have a problem with kind of exaggerating and leaving some stuff out. And so that should be pretty eye-opening, right? That's the way they view it. Is I know I can't really rebut their argument. I know if I still man it, at the least it's going to look like it could be valid. And I know they're just not really going to want to engage. But if I slander them or libel them or misrepresent them or strawman them and lie, and then say they're scared and that they're con men or whatever, I have a better chance of them engaging with me. And so when you realize that, that's not like they're not like innocently misunderstanding, they're tactically doing that. That's super weird. Like if you understand how thirsty someone is, the best way to kill that is,
Cringe.
yeah, it's just to ignore it. That's just super
Yeah.
lame.
That's why I don't get bothered by them anymore. Any of them. I did it first for a while. I've never gone on one of their shows ever. I've been invited, by quite a few of them, but no, I'm not going to feed the trolls.
That's super
I don't even talk to
weird.
them in
Like if you
chat
understand
anymore.
how thirsty someone is, the best way to.
Whoa.
Sorry.
That wasn't me. I didn't do the. Oh, you did the whoa. Okay.
No, that was just I pulled up Rockfin and started playing that.
Big shout out over there on Rock Fandu. Sick with it. Says much love to the GLOBEBUSTERS. Tipped us $20. Much love, friend. Thank you.
Yep, that's what I was about to do. Nice. Yeah, and I think we're caught up everywhere. Well, yeah. I mean, that's just I just wanted, I just thought this is what we should talk about. There's a few different videos that we could play that are kind of showing that, but like I said, I will show you guys this too. I want to get your take on this, Zach. Let me come over here. Pop this up.
Did we get Justin Johnson shout out?
No, we have not.
He gifted 5 GLOBEBUSTER memberships twice. Big shout out, Justin Johnson. Big supporter of the channel. Thank you, brother. Can't say it enough times. I love that beard, man. One of these days, I'm going to let mine grow out.
Yeah, shout out to you, brother. 10 memberships. Very cool. So Elon made a post yesterday and it says, entropy, no escaping. That for me. So if you see how he wrote it, it would be no escaping that for me, but he put no escaping and then entered it down, right? That for me. So entropy, no escaping that for me. And I put entropy falsifies the alleged vacuum of space and requires that this realm be contained. We know you can't escape. Coincidence or cryptic admission. So what do you think about that?
Is Elon catching on?
Or yeah, I don't like that. Catching on, already knows. Coincidence, I have no idea. Right? I mean, this has...
See, I don't see Elon as being all that bright. I never have. I mean, he can memorize some stuff, this and that. But as far as critical thinking, just the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I cannot see him as. I think he's a useful idiot. Myself.
This is what
he's not somebody who needs to be in the know at all. He doesn't need to know. They wouldn't have, he might know as big as it's gotten and all this stuff, but he's not somebody that would have had to be in the know. He's a puppet.
This is what someone put, like, what Elon means, according to Grok. Says, when Elon Musk tweets entropy, no escaping that for me, he's referring to the concept of entropy, a measure of disorder or randomness in a system, and that's actually kind of a misnomer, and how it applies to the various aspects of life and his experiences. The term entropy originates from thermodynamics, where it represents the degree of disorder or randomness in a system, and it is often used metaphorically to describe a gradual decline into disorder or chaos, and specifically, it is just most people will tell you, most like actual top level intelligent physicists will tell you throughout history that like no one knows exactly what entropy is, much less the cause of it, but it's just kind of a word we apply to the process of seeking equilibrium, and how like all natural and spontaneous systems like seek equilibrium, and then there's this entropic process. We just titled it that. It's like something we know that happens. All systems seek equilibrium at all times, and no one will even tell you they know what the cause of it is. It's natural law, not even a scientific law, so it's not even a claimed cause. So the order disorder thing is more of like a really layman explanation for like, I don't know, high school or whatever. But in this context, Elon Musk acknowledges the challenges and unpredictability he faces in his endeavors, such as managing Tesla, SpaceX, and other ventures. By saying no escaping that for me, he recognizes that the struggle against entropy, or the tendency towards disorder, is an inherent part of his journey, It's a candid admission of the difficulties and uncertainties he encounters, and perhaps a call to remain vigilant and proactive in the face of these challenges. Which is funny because I was looking at this after I made my post, and I'm like, is this gonna say it's like the like song lyrics or something? But no, it's not saying that. So this is very cryptic in my opinion, and it's effectively an admission. And I knew I'd be gaslit and told I was crazy for saying that. And then of course, what do we get here? Like, oh, entropy only describes the disorder of a closed system. The second law of thermodynamics only applies to closed systems. And I'm like, what? Wrong, you know. Obviously, that's a ridiculous statement. And what's even funny is in their model, they act that gravity acts as the containment. So to disagree with the fact that it needs to be contained shows they don't even understand their own model, right? But
look at that. How could you have a pressure gradient in an enclosed container?
Yeah.
That's easy. I did that.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
There are many ways you can do it. And it's like they're still just saying that. I don't know. And like this is just a perfect example. I blocked tons of people on here. But still it's ridiculous, right? Like and just to get an idea, right? I mean, you guys don't see the worst ones. I blocked them. If they just are straight up insulting and calling all kinds of crazy stuff and they've been on like 5 or 6 of my posts obsessively, I just blocked them. I decided recently that like you can be a Glober, you can disagree on my post, that's fine, but if you're just spamming insults, like I don't have to read that stupid stuff. So you know, like it doesn't falsify whatsoever. SpaceX escapes it all the time. It's like oh, well, I didn't think about it, but this picture, this video right here, this proves it. That proves it, Zach.
Is that from the car?
You could never fake that, though.
No, never.
Yeah.
No, all the movies from Hollywood, they really go up there and do all that stuff. I just watched Star Wars again the other day. They must have been on a planet that had 2 suns setting off in the distance. He just must have been, right? I love it when they say stuff like that. And now that great research you guys did on the whole CGI and how they had even better stuff than they do today from way back when that Disney was using in their movies. Yeah, it's all coming out. Greatest apocalypse ever. I said it I don't know how many times. And people need to realize that too, that apocalypse is not a bad thing. It's all truths will be revealed. That's what an apocalypse is. Now, who would be afraid of an apocalypse? Liars, maybe? People that have been trying to deceive you, maybe, would be scared of an apocalypse. But a good person, you know, that generally tells the truth, you know, for the most part, isn't going to be scared of an apocalypse. No, this is amazing. Such a cool thing to be, such a cool time to be alive.
Yeah, I'm just showing everyone at home here how you deal with the haters. You know, you just go through here, you find a couple, oh, word salad, no croutons. Like, okay, you have a cartoon as your profile picture, and you're gone.
Blocked.
So, not too difficult. Well,
and you're gone.
Yeah, yeah, because like I don't care about those people, man. Like, if someone has like, if like the guy that he made a post and he says like, I disagree, and he types out like a specific response and a link, I'm like, okay, like you can stay, right? Like I don't care. Like I don't care if you disagree. I don't care if you say I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's an open discussion. That's not just attacking somebody with no substance behind it at all. No, yeah, it took me a while, Austin. I caught on quicker than most, but for like the first year and a half, maybe about 2017, I quit. But I used to sit and have 300 comment thread long, just with one other person. And
This
they
is
were
what
typically the Globers. The
This is what I realized
Globers.
about that, Zach, right? So, like, I was doing the same thing when I first jumped on X, and it was like from this good faith position. I'm like, I'm going to help these people understand, and other people will get to read it. And then I went back and looked through my replies, and I was seeing these replies where I was going back and forth for long durations of time with all these haters, and it's like the reply was getting 27 views or something. And I'm like, what am I doing? I put all that time into this conversation. 20 people have seen it. That's just stupid. That's what they want. They want to, and then what happens every time I directly refute them and call and expose that they're being dishonest, they'd move the goalpost. They'll act like it never happened. They'll never address what you're saying when you point out they're wrong or that they're lying. They just move the goalpost, right? And then they'll stop responding once you corner them all the way. They'll just stop responding. So it's like, this is just a waste of my time. They're winning by us doing that. That goes for YouTube. That goes for Instagram. That goes for Twitter. That goes for TikTok. That goes for any of these places. That goes for these YouTube live streams of the haters. This goes for in the comment sections and the chats of modern day debate. It is pointless. Now, maybe, I'll say, if you go to these posts and you see on a bigger, Flat Earth channel, or even on MDD, and maybe it is good to put very informative responses there. So if someone's new, they see the supposed refutation of Flat Earth, then they see the actual informative answer, then they see a whole bunch of insults, and the Flat Earth are just not taking the bait, and they're going to be like, wow. So the Flat Earth side is consistently coming with info and trying to be respectful and like actually talk about the conversation. The other side is constantly ignoring what they're saying, twisting what they're saying, straw manning and ad homing, and that is good for Flat Earth. But if you're getting in there and then you read it and there's like 37 insults back and forth, it's just not a good look. So.
Yeah, I just don't play with them anymore.
For the most part, that's good. There's like a middle ground where you don't want it to just be a bunch of Globers on the replies and no one kind of defending Flat Earth, because that also can look bad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Mama, man. Gifted 20 GLOBEBUSTERS memberships.
Much love, Joe Mama.
Wow, very generous, brother. Shout out to you. And whoever scooped those up, consider maintaining your membership. But shout out to you, Joe Mama. 20 memberships. Very cool. And like I said, Justin had donated 10. So we got 30 new GLOBEBUSTER members. So that should be cool, man. All right. So I think
looks
we're pretty
like
good.
They changed apocalypse in the dictionary now to only mean end of the world and destruction on dictionary.com. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's why etymology is so important.
Well,
cool. All right, I think we can wrap it up. I think the idea of the show is you may be surprised how I've got some behind the scenes information and even some public discussions boiling over talking about FE. So it's about to happen, and just like I would say, win with grace, and kind of think about what can I do to help get the truth out there in this moment. What can I do to help represent it or whatever, and then find the people that are putting a lot of time into it, really trying to be one of the people that are helping to deliver it when all eyes are on it, and support them however you can support them, whether that's financially for their time or even just sharing their stuff or helping them behind the scenes with graphics or videos or whatever, helping going and sharing and liking and replying to their posts.
Yeah, now's the time.
Yep.
I haven't been on X since they were blocking my stuff way back when. I don't even know what it was, 2016 maybe. And I erased my thing then, and I just got on it just when Austin went in and did his thing. And now I just go through and I don't really post all that much, but I at least give a love and a repost for like Austin stuff and, anybody from the community, stuff like that. The little numbers, when people see that stuff, it means something to them. And the more of those little hearts that they're there and reposts and stuff, it'll give people that, not incentive, but the courage to hit that repost on theirs. Well, if all these other people reposted it, somebody's got to be the first, right? and a second and a third. And then once there's 100 and 200 and 300, then other people will see and be like, oh, that many people reposted it? I'll repost it. So
Yeah, I
even
think
if
you
you
guys.
don't go on there except to do anything but that, love and repost other flat earthers. Do that.
Yep, I think you may be surprised how far it goes if you like and share things on X. Very generous donation from Dan O, $100 on Ko-fi.
Dan, oh, thank you.
Wow.
Much love, brother.
Yeah, very generous, man. And that popped us over the goal right before we got out of here. That was super clutch. Shout out to you, man.
Big shout out to Liz there. Liz, the Iron Maiden. Thrown in some euros. Or pounds. Those are pounds. This was uplifting. Aw, love you, lady. Thank you
Great.
so much, Liz.
That was the idea. Yeah, shout out to you, Liz, and shout out to you, Dan O. You guys are legends. Very cool. So, yeah, like if you share, repost it, quote it, like it, even throw in some comments, the engagement percentage is what props it up in the algorithms. So I think you guys may be surprised the impact that you can have in this movement getting out, because that's how we got on InfoWars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like one of the few, right? I think that we are now on the radar of Patrick Bet David and the Hodge twins, and those are the only three I've ratioed so far. I think that there is another person that's going to be propped up now. Nick Fuentes got brought back on X, and people are going to be like, bring him on your podcast. And I'm all for that as well, to be honest. But I just
Big
think
shout out to
that
David
interaction-
Sullivan, who says, okay, I'll get on X.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, if
There you
everyone just do that, just get on there, check it out. You may find out it's a very good source of information, actually. That's the most ironic part. Like I fought Twitter for 10 years, bro. So you're preaching to the choir. I get it. But it is very good for information, because almost anything can be put on there if you find the right accounts, you follow the right accounts. Start seeing what their reply. You can go to their replies, so see what they found. What are they talking about? What are they liking? What are they responding to and reposting? That's probably like the most efficient source of information almost at this point. So cool. All right, what do you got coming up this week, my brother?
Thursday night on GLOBEBUSTERS Tech, we're going to have space audits. Alan's coming on to give a presentation. So yeah, if you want to get nerdy and techie and listen to a very wise young man break stuff down, come on and check us out Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be there. So yeah, that's going to be a good one. And then we're going to start getting, like every other week, we're going to try and get, some kind of, not so to say expert, but somebody who's really been digging into some research that they'd like to share. We're reaching out and getting some people on. So yeah, expect stuff like that coming here in the future for GLOBEBUSTERS Tech. We're going to, like every other week, it'll just be the regular panel, and we'll cover a topic and, do our thing. But then we're going to try to get, I want to get a surveyor in there to come on and talk, because I haven't seen any interviews recently with a surveyor. I've seen quite a few over the years, of course, but just things like that, things that could be touched up on. I think you're right. It's going to get big right now, and a lot of people are seeing stuff for the first time. So we got to remember that when you're teaching something, you don't get to just go on and teach whatever you feel like teaching all the time. Yeah, a teacher goes throughout the year and teaches that subject from beginning to end, the part that they're supposed to teach. But then the next year, when the new students come in, they got to go all the way back to the beginning and teach it all over again, because these are new eyes that are seeing it for the first time. So like that, we're going to have to start doing that. I've really been thinking about getting back into making some videos and just putting them up here on the GLOBEBUSTER channel. Just a lot of the electrostatic stuff and things like that. With new, re-recorded and redone and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, people need to see this stuff again. And a lot of people need to see it for the first time. And like you said, most people don't know how to research in such a censored society that we live in. They think it's just all going to pop up for you like candy, and I just put in this person's name and everything will be fine. Well, it doesn't quite work that way when you're dealing with this subject. So yeah, you're right. It's time for that. We're going to tip here, and we can either tip in the way we want it to go, or we can have them tip it in a direction they want it to go, which is the next lie. So it's now, folks. It's the time. Get out there, start sharing stuff. Even if you're not making the content, like Austin said, get on X, follow him, follow David, follow wherever you can, and have it, just make it part of your routine. Get up, find all the stuff that they put out, love, repost, love, repost, love, repost. It's a numbers game now. That's how you can help out, really. If you can't help out, with the support financially that we get from you all so graciously, thank you all so much for all the love. It really does help us, be able to research and put so much time into doing this stuff. It's really a labor of love for the most part. But that helps us do more. And now is the time where we need help getting it out to others. It can't be the content alone. We need those thumbs up and those shares and those likes and all that stuff. Now's the time. It's up to you.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a good year. So, I got some stuff coming up this week as well. I got going to be on. Let me just make sure I get the date right. I'm going to be on the Donut Factory. That's a pretty big channel. I got hooked up with from the booking agent from Sam Tripoli, the Tinfoil Hat podcast. So that's Donut Factory on YouTube, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. And then the next week on the 14th, I'm debating Pastor Anderson about Flat Earth with Owen Benjamin as the moderator. So there's a few things to be on the lookout for. Should be pretty interesting. And yeah, of course, just follow me on X and, on YouTube and stuff like that. And that's all I got coming up. All right. I say we wrap it up.
All right. Much love, brother. That was fun.
It was cool. Yeah. Just the new wave, it's coming. Just like I said, win with grace. It's all good. People might get triggered. It's okay. That's what happens. What's true is rarely popular. What's popular is rarely true. When the truth becomes popular, it usually shakes things up a little bit, and emotion overrides logic. So expect emotional response in defense of uncomfortable, or in rejection of uncomfortable truth, basically. So, all right. So that was episode 5 of season 11. We'll have a show next week, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. So check it out. Follow us on Rockfin as well. Shout out to everyone that helps support the show. If you want to support the show, even after the fact, Ko-fi.com/GLOBEBUSTERS. You guys make it possible. And be kind to each other. Don't lie to each other. Open your mind, because there's truth inside. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
You don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is flat.
GLOBEBUSTERS taking over. Bye bye moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster. But the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. Get the shovel for the space, have a piecing up the puzzle. need to burst your bubble. Evil gonna crumble, yeah? Sit down and be humble. Got the ball, you about to fumble. You'll get mad, cause at this fight I'm Bob's your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Vibes at the president, Jaren got the evidence. Arrow slaying Jesuits and Zach Sharkham is evident. Dead to earth electric and it's resonant. Your resident is evidence and I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
GLOBEBUSTERS taking over. Bye bye, moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster. But the truth is good.